Hello everyone, welcome back to Analog Snippets. First of all, a very happy new year. I hope you're having a good break in this holiday season. In last couple of years, AGI or artificial general intelligence has taken the world by storm. It all started with the launch of ChatGPT in late 2022, and it soon became the fastest growing consumer software in the history. Since then, Nvidia's shares skyrocketed. Couple of Nobel prizes being awarded, and there is a flurry of AI enabled features in all kind of products. No wonder that AI seems ready to take over everything. It has even got us, the analog designers, worried. I rather frequently get this question asked: is AI going to take over analog design? So I thought, what better time to articulate just this question than a quiet year in break. But before I embark in these choppy waters, couple of disclaimers are in order. Disclaimer number one is I am not an expert in AI. I have read a few books and followed the AI related news in general like any other technology enthusiast. I have even worked for a while on an analog compute chip. But truth remains, I am not an AI expert. By the way, this is one book I highly recommend if you want to develop a good understanding of AI algorithms. Second disclaimer: predicting future is hard. So take everything I say here with a good amount of salt. Just consider it as one person's opinion. Before we start looking into analog design, let's face the facts. It has already started in a related field. Google recently announced a chip designed by AI. They claimed that Alpha chip can do a complex chip layout in a matter of few hours. This task can take several weeks, if not months, for humans. Now, the claim was little lean on details, and many people questioned the quality of AI generated layout, but the fact remains, it's already happening. Now, at this point, you might throw your hand up in the air and say, chip layout is not chip design, and analog design is entirely different beast. So now let's ask this question: what is so special about analog design? Analog design is a complex domain, and it takes people several years to get a grip on it. I have met analog engineers near the end of their career, and they are still learning. Analog design requires knowledge of several fields, and it also requires a lot of intuition and common sense. And there is an important thing about intuition and common sense: it doesn't come with education and training, it comes with experience. But then you can say, so what? Even protein folding is a complex problem, and AI could crack it, apparently better than humans. My next point rests on the fact that analog design is not one thing. Rather, it is a cluster of very specialized domains. Being an expert in one domain doesn't guarantee that you can automatically design circuits in other domains. Different companies are expert in their particular domains, and these companies dearly guard their expertise. Let's take an example of analog devices, where I work. For a very long time, analog devices have been a leader in data converters. They have decades of experience in designing these circuits. So potentially they can be a good candidate to develop an AI tool to design data converters. But there are two problems with this scenario. The first is that ADI is not really an expert in the field of AI. The second problem is the security issue. Once such a tool is developed, let's call it alpha data converters, it is only a matter of time that it is leaked to a competitor, and ADI would end up losing its edge and the business. The point I want to make here is that the conventional semiconductor companies that do have a deep expertise in these domains don't have a real motivation to develop these artificial intelligence tools. In general, technology companies are either expert in AI or in analog design, but not in both. But there are some important exceptions. Google and Apple are two obvious examples. Google has even started experimenting with this, as we have seen earlier. So what is stopping them to design analog circuit using AI tools? I can think of a few good reasons why it would take a lot of time for them to get there. The first reason is simple economics, the cost benefit analysis. If we consider the entire semiconductor industry, analog design is only a small part of the whole. Naturally, the subdomains of analog design would be even smaller portion. So, if Google has to develop an AI tool, it will not be for analog design. An AI tool for digital design would offer much larger returns on investment. The second good reason would be again based on economics. The cost of a working silicon. You may be familiar with the phrase first time silicon success. Let me tell you a secret. This phrase doesn't apply to analog or mixed signal chips. A reasonably complex mixed signal chip would take a few revisions or iterations to get it right. And that is the thing with the analog design. Even if you have spent months and months in simulations and verifications, you can't be really sure that you have checked everything. So I think an analog design purely by an AI tool will take lots and lots of iteration before it gets it right, if at all. And I think so because these problems can be sometimes very subtle. And I can't think of a way to train AI for such problems. And these iterations are expensive and time consuming. Here I am tempted to quote Leo Tolstoy's Anna Karenina principle. All working chips are alike. Each failing chip is failing in its own way. A third problem could be how do you train the AI on the circuits? Now, one obvious way would be to train the AI on thousands and thousands of papers published in the various journals. Now, if you have ever tried to design a circuit by reading a paper, then you would know that it can only get you halfway. For one, technology can be different, which is really important for analog design. But most paper often omits the finer details of the circuits, which are really important for a working circuit. What I'm trying to say here is that for companies like Google and Apple, it probably doesn't make a lot of economic and logistic sense to develop a tool for analog design. It is not their core expertise, it'll cost too much, and it doesn't make a sound financial sense. Then there is a third group of companies which may have the relevant expertise and will also benefit from developing such tools. These are CAD companies. Companies like Cadence and Synopsys have decades of software experience, and in the recent past they have also developed design houses. In fact, I expect them to introduce AI-enabled chatbot features in their tools pretty soon. It will make my life as a circuit designer much simpler if I can talk with the tool as I talk with ChatGPT. For example, if I need help in writing a complicated measure statement, or I need help with convergence or accuracy settings, or maybe I need to better understand a brand new simulation feature. As these companies have good relations with the big fab houses, they can develop AI tools to design analog building blocks. In fact, this is one entry point I see for AI into analog world. In fact, I see another area where AI can make a real difference. The architectural exploration. And this is where companies like MathWork can innovate. For example, let's say in future, you want to develop a 10th order delta sigma ADC. Or maybe if you want to develop a very efficient multi-loop, multi-level power converter. Humans are not very good at working with higher order or non-linear systems. But I think AI should not have any problem dealing with such systems. But at the same time, I believe that AI will struggle with implementing a working lower level circuit design. So I think you know where I'm going with this. A coexistence between human and artificial intelligence. I think human and AI will have different strengths and weaknesses. Both will make mistakes, but different types of mistakes. And this alliance would make a better design. So we and AI will complement each other rather than competing against each other. I want to mention another player in this human AI saga. That player has all the expertise and all the motivation to design an AI software for analog circuits. And that player is academia. Technically speaking, universities have all the experts they need distributed in different departments. And they have high incentive to work on something futuristic and disruptive. So with enough funding and persistent, academia can deliver a first prototype of analog design AI tool. But it will still take a lot of time before it becomes an industry standard tried and tested tool. And I strongly believe that it will be a design assistant than a fully independent design tool. So I have talked about a lot of things in this video. Let me quickly summarize my position and prediction. Analog design is definitely a difficult target for AI. On the top of it, it is not very economically appealing to develop a tool for analog design. One corollary of this is that you will see it coming. We already saw an AI tool being developed for chip layout. It'll take at least few years to get matured. Also because the inherent design cycle because of the manufacturing process and the testing and validation itself is few months if not year. Then you might see AI taking over verification or even digital design, and each will take several years if not decades. So I think that analog design community will have fair idea of what is coming. Then I think the CAD companies would be first companies to introduce AI to the analog community. It could be chatbots, which I'm fairly sure are coming, or AI tools to build the basic building blocks. Then I think that architectural evolution is one area where AI can definitely outdo humans. I also strongly believe that human intelligence and AI will coexist in analog design for a very long time. Let me make another prediction. We, analog design community, will welcome AI when it will finally appear. And I'm saying that because analog engineers are slowly disappearing. It is really becoming hard to find good analog engineers. Universities are closing down the courses on analog design. Even whole electronics department is vanishing at some places. Okay, one final topic. What is my advice to the new grads who want to become analog engineers? Should you even bother about analog design? First of all, analog design is not for everyone. It takes time, patience, hard work, and a genuine curiosity to learn analog design. Once we were talking to a new grad and she asked, well, how much time would it take me to learn analog design? So me and my colleague, both having 2 decades of analog experience, looked at each other and said, well, even we are still learning. And if this concept of lifelong learning excites you, then well, analog design is for you. And don't worry about AI taking over analog design. AI would be another tool, or I should rather say companion, to explore this fascinating world with. So with this thought, I again wish you a very happy new year. Let me know what you think about AI taking over the analog design. So post your comments below and thanks for watching.